Hey, what's up amigos? Commander Jaime here, and we're gonna go over first stride options that Blue Wave now has thanks to the new booster that just released. And I'm gonna start with Artium. So, the primary reason that Artium is played sometimes is the fact that he can fix the heart. But I'm gonna go over a scenario where you are on Valeos already, so that way you can use the stride skill because Artium actually has the Blue Wave name in it, so you have access to that. So you could fix your opponent's power at the 11k mark for this turn. And I'm going to go over with two units specifically. Let's see if I can get the closer. Galeas and Arsenal Fleet. And in this first example, I'm going to use Galeas. So the other skill that Artium actually has is that he can give rearguards plus 3k and for that battle. And the reason Galeas actually kind of is nice in this is that he's going to attack 3 times. So you're going to get that plus 3 benefit for each battle he's going to attack. And 3 plus 9 makes 12. So it's going to hit for the 11k mark, not a problem. So you may want to consider this if you kind of have like a shit hand and you can't do Flood Hazard, you can't really do Alexandros, or you can't really do a Command of Hours turn because Galeas is restricted to the original name that your strat has. This is one option to go into. So on the first attack, you're going to play a counterblast 1 attack. Since it's the first wave, restand. Keep in note that he also discards a blue wave. That's important. And then you'll do the second attack. That's also 11k. And then on the third attack, you can boost if you still have Dagger Master available. Any triggers can be applied to this guy, and then it'll restand due to his skill. And that way on the fourth attack, you can poke once more with the 11k mark, or the 12k mark in this instance. So you get 4 attacks for Counterblast 1, discard 1, and you got Valeos' skill off, so you're guaranteed to hit, and it can apply some pressure at least. Actually, Galeas is going to be 14k, my mistake, because he gets plus 2 when he restands due to the red tech skill right there, that clear. On the other hand, if you had Dagger Master on the side, this can also boost for the final attack to make a bigger number on this rigor column. So that can help. So that passes the 16k mark. Now, the kind of small cons with this is 2 things. Artium doesn't enable GB2, so it doesn't flip anything. It doesn't really do much, except for like some small pokes in the scenario. And it can fix the heart, but in that scenario, then Valeos' stride skill is out of the question. And if you're using Galeas in this example, you're going to be discarding 1 card, so it's a -1. But that's just a few small cons. The small pros is that it fixed the heart if you're not on Valeos, but in this case we are Valeos. And then if, since you're a blue wave, you can use the Valeos skill if you are on Valeos. The other play that we can do is with Arsenal Fleet. If you have an Arsenal Fleet available to you, this might be prefer instead of the Galeas combo. So the one thing that you are guaranteed is that you won't discard cards, so you won't -1. And since his timing is the second wave, you can give all the triggers from the Vanguard from the first wave. So you can take advantage of that and get twice the benefit. So I'm going to do Vanguard first. Any drive triggers here. Second attack, a special counterblast, a blue wave. It gets plus 4, so it becomes 15. Thanks to Artium, gets an additional plus 3. So then it becomes 18k. So now you're past the 16k mark, so they have to drop a 10k shield if they want to make it a 1-card drop, or they take it. Restands, of course. And then you can boost with your Dagger Master if it's still available. And now 5 plus 18 makes 23k. So now you're past the 21k mark, and now they have to drop 2 cards, like a 10k shield and a 5k to actually try to guard this effectively. Otherwise, they just have to take it. But this is also 1 counterblast. This is 3 attacks. You don't discard a card. And you apply some pressure, and they're stuck at the 11k mark because of Valeos' skill, thanks to Artium being a blue wave. So that helps. Now I'm going to go over what happens if you have both. Okay, so let's say we have both right now, Galeas and Arsenal Fleet. So the sequence is kind of wonky, but you can get 3 attacks off of him, 1 attack, and then 2 attacks off of him. So for a total of 6 attacks this turn, but just being on Artium and having access to Valeos' skill. And that's important. That way you're guaranteed to hit that 11k mark. So on the first attack, you do Galeos, kind of blessed, discard a blue wave. it is going to poke, then it restands. Now for the second one, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to have to attack second wave of Arsenal Fleet to get the restanding skill off. It's special kind of less, and it's +4 plus the 3, so it's 18. Restands. And now you're going to have to attack with Galeos once more, so that way he'll get to restand when the Vanguard attacks. So it's another poke. And now for the fourth wave? Yeah, fourth wave. Artyom is going to attack. Galeos restands. Any triggers? It kind of doesn't matter. So just apply them over here. With the next attack, you can do like a small poke if you want, making that the fifth. And then attack here. If you didn't get any triggers, this is 23. 18 plus the 5. And that is your sixth attack. I like this better than if you're doing just Galeos, and then this is a little bit better if you add something to it with Arsenal Fleet. So putting the two together, you can get 6 attacks with 2 counter blasts with Artyom. And in this scenario, if you don't have any other combo pieces, and you don't want to go into the Flood Hazard turn, because you can't really break even with the discard costs, like if you didn't have a Brutal Trooper, and you only have the 2 counter blasts, in this example, you can't really use a blue wave restander with Flood Hazard also costing a counter blast, and then Dagger Master to help you negate that minus that you're going to have that turn. So this is one instance that you can just do this turn instead. You get 6 pokes. Some of them are actually bigger pokes, and it can apply some pressure. So yeah. Now for Commander Favas. Okay. So this is going to be with Commander Favas, and let's just say you are very low in counterblasts. Let's say you have 1 counterblast available to you. So with Commander Favas, you also don't use any counterblast from itself, and you can do some neat tricks to help you against non-control matchups too. And the aspect of that is that Commander Favas gives that unit be able to attack from the back row. So non-control clans can't really touch cards like Fuegos, for example. And I'm also going to tie this with Metla in this example. So what you could do is, if you have both of these, you can call them in the back row. And let's say your Dagger Master is still behind Vanguard. So you can do this. You could also probably put Fuegos behind this, but not Fuegos, Metla behind the Vanguard. Either way, it doesn't matter. But the point is, you can put Fuegos in the back row and use Commander Favas' skill to give it +5. And it's a 16k attacker when it attacks, and it's from the back row. So the sequence is easily 11k because you have the blue wave name, thanks to Valle's name. Then, of course, Vanguard, and apply any triggers on Fuegos. So if you didn't get any triggers, it's just 16. Do the skill, Counter Blast 1, restand, and then 4th wave. You get another 16k poke. So you get 4 attacks, and you use 1 Counter Blast, mainly because of Fuegos. So the pros with this is that it keeps a Rearguard safe, like I said. Benefits restanders more too because it's a +5k inherently, so you can take advantage of that. It pretty much only relies on the Rearguard set of counterblast costs. Your Vanguard's free. The only thing you miss out really is on Valios' Stride skill, and you can't even use cards like Galeos because he requires the original name to be blue wave. And so that's just something I wanted to show off. Another similar play you can still do with Commander Favas. You can use Arsenal Fleet in this turn instead. You can put it in front of a booster to get like a bigger number. So that way when you use the GBT skill, or not GBT skill, but the Persona Flip skill, he's going to be hitting numbers after the Vanguard attacks. You get any triggers, second wave, special counter blast. So he's 11 plus 4, which is 15, 15 plus 5, 20, restand, and then 20 plus the 20, 25. 5 plus the 20 makes 25. So that can take advantage. But it's very similar to Artyom, so you might not do that instead. In fact, you might just say, let's say I just keep this in the back row. And again, for the very same reason, it is safe in the back row. So when you do your poke, you are hitting 16k marks. So then you're forcing them to drop a 10k shield or 2 cards, or they take the damage and so on. So it's something, and it enables GB2 in this instance compared to Artyom, which is probably what you want. So that way when you stride next turn, if you don't G-Guard, you can do Flood Hazard, you can do Alexandros, that can get bigger, you can do other strides, even Wailing Thalas. So now we're doing Alexandros. One of the things you can do with Alexandros compared to Command of Favas, you spend an extra counterblast to conserve a card in hand so you can get to the fourth battle using cards like Fuegos. And so basically the sequence is you're going to do Fuegos. You can attack the rear guard if they have any. And then Alexandros can attack the second wave. Any triggers go to Fuegos. At the end of the battle, counterblast, flip Gophilia 9 times out of 10. So that way you can countercharge if you really need it later on. And then Fuegos will restand. Gets an additional +5 for this turn because there's only one card face up. So now he's 16k by himself when he does his skill. Counterblast another one. He'll restand once more. Then 16 plus, let's say, Dagger Master makes 21. So you get 4 attacks using one card from hand that you dropped. And specifically, this is Fuegos. And you spend the 2 counterblasts instead of the 1 counterblast comparing dropping an extra card on a Command of Favas turn. So if you don't want to drop down the other card, or the other card isn't something that you rather like put in the back row to keep safe, or you just have a shit hand and the only thing you have is Fuegos. So this could help out in that instance. So now we're going to go into the next combo. We're going to do something similar like Command of Favas would. Just pretend this is a second Metla. They fucked up the mail order, so only got one in the mail, or I was supposed to get a bunch. But for the sake of this argument, this is a Metla like her. So if you have 2 Metlas, and you have at least 1 counterblast available to you, you can do this where basically you can just do an 11k attack from the back row. First wave. Second wave, another 11k to the Vanguard. And on third wave, do Alexandros. And then Alexandros will just flip Gophilia, restanding these 2, give him +5. So now your 4th attack can be 16k to the Vanguard, and then 16k to the Vanguard as your 5th attack. I like doing this because it is 5 easy attacks. It's 11, 11, 26, 16, 16, simple numbers. And it's only 1 counterblast, so if you don't think, again, Flood Hazard is the way to go, this is a different option. And again, the only thing you miss out is Valios' skill. And you can't use units like Galleass, Lucianos, or Arsenal Fleet because mainly of the timing. Arsenal Fleet and Lucianos need to attack the second wave to get the restand. And then if you do Alexandros on the third wave, they're already restood, so there's no point. So the timing is just bad with those cards. So that's one thing to note. And then of course you get to flip Gophilia so you can countercharge later. And this helps extend more attacks. In this case, for 1 counterblast and for having 2 Metlas in the back row, I got 5 attacks in total. So now let's just go into Flood Hazard himself. Alright, this time we're going to go into Flood Hazard. I'm going to use very minimal setup to get to the 4th wave. I'm going to use Metla to attack from the back row and Fuegos to get to that 4th wave. And you typically want cards, at least a Dagger Master and an Arsenal Fleet or a Brutal Trooper. Either way works to help mitigate that minus for this turn. You typically want 2 to 3 counterblasts as well, because Flood Hazard takes 1 counterblast, and you want to use Dagger Master skill too to help mitigate the minus. And then if you have to rely on a blue wave restander, they cost a counterblast versus the Tidal Assault. So I'm going to do Dagger Master in this right now. So that way, your wave 2nd or more, you'll draw a card, and then you get the crit on the wave 5th. And now you're ready to begin your battle phase. So in this case, I'm going to attack with Metla first, 11k poke. Vanguard, you want to draw 1 from the Dagger Master skill. You do triple drive. You give all triggers to Fuegos, of course. Then on the 3rd wave, Fuegos can attack using the skill. 11k base. Restands. Does that again one more time. 11k base. And then you'll discard 2 cards. Let's just say we'll discard the card I drew in an Arsenal Fleet. In this case, I drew a Nikki. And then you'll restand, and you'll get minus drive check 3. When you discard this guy, he gets placed in the drop zone, and then you finally resolve the rest of the skill. He stands, so he's in the drop zone and sees that, and you can activate the skill now. Luckily, he's generic, so you can soul blast anything, not a blue wave unit if you don't have one. But in this case, I had the Dagger Master, and this goes back to my hand. So now I have this card back into my hand. And now when I attack for the 5th wave, I'll draw the extra card. Ironically, it's a Brutal Trooper in this case. But it's just a draw, not a drive check. So yeah, and you'll get crit in this turn. So it can force out a PG or a G guard this turn too, because it could kill them. So that's actually pretty good. Of course, make sure you pay for the cost. Kind of less than flip. But yeah, just like that, you're able to do 5 attacks, 2 Vanguard attacks, the 5th one being crits, and you use, in this example, I use 3 Counter Blasts. More pros to this is that you have access to Valiosa skill. I didn't show off because it's already assumed. So you're always going to be hitting, because these are at least hitting the 11k mark. The other pro you can use is if you have to use a unit like Galeos, in this example, if you need to get to that. What else? You can enable GB2 because it flips. The cons is that you need cards to help you break even. And I'm talking about like these cards. And of course your starter. And the problem is sometimes you don't have that. Especially against control. They're going to pop this dude or lock it. So he's pretty much out of the question. So that sucks during that matchup. It requires 2 to 3 Counter Blasts, which can be heavy sometimes. So that's why you don't really have much of an early aggro in the beginning, unless you ride up to grade 3 first, and then you pop in like a Arsenal Fleet or Fuevos to do some 3 to 4 attacks kind of thing. So they're going to give you more Counter Blasts anyway, because they're going to do their first try turn. But again, if you're going to be first striking Flood Hazard, you need combo pieces to break even at least. Not only that, you need the right ones. That way, you're not doing a very ineffective turn, and at that point, you might as well go into a card like Alexandros, Command the Favas, or even Artyom that I demonstrated. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this, and hope that this kind of sheds some light on the different possibilities for first strike for Blue Wave now. And I will keep doing these. And so, like, comment down below, get a conversation going, share, and subscribe. See ya, amigos. Bye.